Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Second Breakfast. I don't know who the morning reprobates are going to be today, but I'm certain it's going to be a fun time as always. How you guys doing out there in TV land? What's new with you guys? We announced the book of the month, or the Appendix N book club is going to be Gilgamesh. I still didn't get a chance to find a really good audio book for you guys to follow along with. I was looking at a couple of hard copies of it, but uh, again, haven't decided on one specific volume. Open to suggestions. And of course, we're getting ready to start our Super Soaker Challenge with turning it a squirt gun. It doesn't have to be a squirt gun, it could be a toy gun of any kind, just as long as you make it look different than right out of the package, so to speak, and that it looks like it would make for a decent sci-fi movie prop. We're gonna have some other things, uh, hopefully, fun things for you guys to participate. What's up, Chris? Long time no see. It's been a while. Were you in the Saturday show? I want to say you were. That was a lot of fun. Those swords were amazing. Jackie was really surprised with those as well. I got to find a couple of homes for the card sets that they sent us, but I'm probably going to use those as prizes for the various challenges that we're going to have coming up, craft challenges, and maybe other challenges as well. I have I have a couple of ideas for some other challenges for the audience to participate in. Get you guys involved doing stuff. Um, Chewy, get up here. Okay, fine. Just will get him here. I close the door and he'll be instantly, like, oh no, why can't I be there? Why can't I come inside? What's going on? And then he'll want to come in. Oh, you weren't there? Oh, I suggest you go back and check out the CNYCon recap from Saturday, the live show. It was awesome. There are some great new products coming out from Emperor's Choice. A ton of dice. I would have never thought to make dice out of glass. And I know what you're thinking. They're probably going to chip and crack and break and blah blah blah. Maybe if you've got the right dice tray and you treat them very well, I think from what I hear, they look spectacular. Some of the other like gemstone quality, the onyx. I forget the other ones. I'm grabbing a set of the onyx sight unseen. Some of the other dice, the DM screens that they came up with, freaking gorgeous, and at that price, just a steal. A bunch of you were at Origins. Well, look at you. I haven't been to a convention in since before Jackie was born. Honestly, was the last convention. Wait, no, that's not true. I went to I want to say Wizard World and something else. Two little cons, one in Long Beach, one in Anaheim. After when he was just a little tyke, those were fun. I miss going to conventions, meeting all the people, seeing all the cool stuff, and checking out the new games, and being able to talk to the creators and the designers. To be honest, though, I think the last two conventions I went to were either sci-fi or comic book conventions, uh, and I can't ask my friend Ron, who I went there with. He's no longer with us. Exactly what they were. I suppose I could look them up, but they were a lot of fun. The Wizard World was insane. It was in the Long Beach Convention Center. Hey, what's up, Squirrel? That convention was just, oh my god, that was out of control. The line to get in there stretched around the building and down the street. It was crazy. And I walked right by the cast of Firefly, not knowing who they were and how much their show would mean to me. I love that show, but I can't watch it very often. It's one of those things I've gotta pace myself with, because then I get all bummed out that you know all the stuff that happened. It's the same thing with the John Carter movie. I love that movie, but with the way Disney treated the Burroughs estate and how they went out of their way. But on the good news, I believe there is an animated John Carter in the works as we speak, and of course, uh, your Uncle Shadow is going to go over that in detail when it does come out. And obviously looking forward to that. I actually just got, speaking of John Carter, that's that. I got these, not necessarily to use for John Carter, but I didn't even open them. But it's a deck of, what do they call them? Landscape art location deck, um, with glorious images of various places on Barsoom, and looking at some of the images from the ad, I'm like, I could probably use those for other places on other worlds and in other games. So I picked this setup. It was like $10, um, and it looks like it will add a little spice to some of the games that I'm running, especially in my Sunday AD&D game, which unfortunately was uh, canceled last Sunday because of players unable to show up. I was in Bubba's Dragon Slayer game last night. We had like 9 players, so it was kind of hectic, but it was fun. Everybody, getting to know each other and getting to know our characters. I'm still trying to find my voice for that character. There was some things going on that were for here at the house that were a little distracting, and I kind of lost my footing about halfway. But I'll do better next time, Bubba. So it's really hard for me to play characters with really really low stats. Like intelligence and wisdom. It's just it's so hard to not just do the dumbest things on purpose. Because what's the point then? I might as well just roll up a new character because he's going to be dead the first sign of combat. And I wasn't thrilled with the character that I rolled up, but once I came up with some gimmicky things to flesh him out, I'm like, okay, I can do this for a while. If I die, I die. Unfortunately, the other character I rolled up as a backup was literally like no better. Um, so that's kind of sad, you know. Running normal folks, not to say that I'm abnormal or better than, but I'm not a freaking blooming idiot. He has a 7 wisdom, and to me that just says, oh, okay, he's just going to run into everything stupid on purpose. When it comes to combat, he's a fighter, but at the same time, it's like I can kind of see the danger like a mile away. It's like we've got the advantage here or there. Let's just use it. Um, we'll see. Um, we'll see. We're gonna be playing every Monday night. Hey, Squirrel, you want to pop in? You busy? You still lounging on the porch painting minis? Hmm. I bet you are. I am painting up some new minis. Uh, I'm working on the Steampunk Wizard of Oz set from Reaper. I picked up a few other Reaper minis. 2 I thought were going to be metal. They ended up being plastic. I was a little disappointed with that. I got some the Ladies of the Evening set to use as just bystanders for some sci-fi games. I even made one to look like your stereotypical pink hair, you know, girl I see every day. Anytime I go shopping, that type of specific girl is like somewhere, you know. Um, and I got a couple more vampires for Vampire Wars. Those are the ones that came in plastic. Not bad minis. I primered them and put them in a box. Uh, I've got quite the box going now, full of primered vampires and vampire hunters for September. At which point, that's all I'll be doing is gothic everything. Oop, time to plug in the old battery. The charger screen just went darkish, and I got the notification or another notification in my email this morning about Dusk Hollow, which is the gothic Dungeons and Lasers. Just freaking stunning terrain. What's up, Squirrel? How you doing, man? On the porch again?
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. I am well. I am well. How are you, brother?
I'm doing fine. You can't wait to get back on the porch again.
Yeah.
Must be nice. I can't paint outside at all. Even in here. Whatever paint I'm using, I've got to add a little bit of water. It's becoming a go-to technique because I don't know unless it's the speed paint, which I know how old those are. All my old army painter, as soon as I drop one drop, I add like two drops of water to go for the super thin 2 or 3 coats of
Yep.
paint, just to make sure that because it's gonna evaporate here. Like I mixed up some copper, uh, and it was 1 drop of copper and like 3 drops of water, and it's already dry at the bottom of the palette. It's bone dry, and that was like right before the show started, which was what. Oh, it's been 13 minutes, but still, it's
Yeah. Half hour
even
Friday.
not even that. Like probably 5 minutes. It's already in the 80s, and even though we've got the AC set for like 77, 76, depending on what time of the day it is. Up here, it's 85. I'm on the second floor. The sun is coming up right through that freaking window, and it's not like uncomfortable yet. It's actually still nice, but it's dry. It's a desert, so
Yeah, I was gonna say desert is dry.
yeah.
Desert is dry.
It's so dry. My wife got me this little cute little clock with like ambient noise, like waterfalls, stuff like that. It's so dry out here you can't even hear it. I've got it set for rain so that when I go to sleep, but I can't hear it.
It sounds like bacon sizzling.
No, not even that. I mean, it's like uh, uh, just nothing. If you're within 3 feet, you can hear it, but 5 to 7, forget it. I don't know if there's a volume on it. If there is, I would just have it cranked up all day long. I'm a big fan of rain. Unfortunately, my collections are not. So, what are you working on? I noticed you had your Harn shirt on.
Oh yeah, I got one of my Harn shirts.
One of course, she's got like 20. Just Harn every
No,
day.
just 3 or 4. This is what I'm working on here. Let me see if I can't do the flipperoo of the camera.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Bubba? You want to pop in for a minute, or are you too busy?
Let me see here. Maybe I can get it this way. Try and get something to focus.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's better. I don't have to tilt my head like my dog. Is that a lance or a pike? It's just a really long spear. Oh,
It's
neither.
a samurai.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what period. I got a handful. Um, whoops. Oh, geez. They're
Oh yeah, Fletcher today. Yeah, I saw that picture yesterday of the little munchkin with it looked like chocolate all over. Why have you joined twice? That's weird.
it
Oh no no no.
dropped me for some reason, so I decided to join again. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you're gonna have to. Or can I even do that? I got two of you on the screen. One circling, trying to go away.
Well, let me leave. I'll come back. Maybe that'll help.
There we go. That's better. You guys out there hear me? I was having a little kerfluffle there going on. Naginata. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Once I realized it was a samurai. So last night's game was fun. I gotta say though, I kind of ended a little earlier than I thought it was gonna. Uh, so is that like the regular time or the regular schedule? Uh, there, Bubba. What was that squirrel?
Oh, anyways, I got a handful of these samurai. There's some, I forget the different periods. Some of them are during like when there was samurai, and some were called pre-samurai era.
Okay.
But they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. I never had any of those type of miniatures really, so I figured I'd grab some, paint them up. Plus,
Hmm.
on the in the cooperative setting we're doing, there is I got lazy on one little area, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much like Japan
Hmm.
back in the day, samurai, all that jazz. Little different,
Sure.
but same. They're like, oh, that's cool.
That works.
Yeah. Plus, I'm trying out my. Well, I'm dialing in per se the static grass applicator I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the trigger on one of those eventually. Just not sure exactly when. Those things just, man, what a neat little invention.
Yeah,
You know.
I'll have to, if I remember, I'll have to send you a link on Discord when we're done blabbing. Um, it had popped up on YouTube. There's some guy, he reviews like from the cheapest to one of the some of the most expensive. He does like a half a dozen of them or something. He
Oh, okay.
reviews them and
That's
tests them out. Now they're in. It's all in pound or quid. It's over in the UK or whatever, but
right. Which.
you still get a rough idea what it would cost. Um,
Mhm. What's up, George?
I'll send it to you. It's interesting. That way you might have a better idea what, because I just got the pretty much the cheapest of cheaps.
Okay.
It does work well. It does. But when you watch him use a couple of the other like mid range,
Yeah.
wow, do you see a difference?
Really.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The one I got was like $35, I think.
Okay.
And the one he reviewed that he loved the best would probably cost about $70,
Okay.
maybe $80 at the most. And that one, wow. But you'll see it. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Okay. I'll actually end up looking for it here in the states because I won't buy overseas. The
Yeah,
only thing I will buy overseas is an occasional Kickstarter. because the money that I'm saving through the Kickstarter programs or Game Found or what have you is way more than the extra. I'm not going to say little because that's what got me
Yeah,
here in the
well,
first
the
place.
cheapo one I got, it was the handle was different, but it was the same type of deal. I got it
Mhm.
off of here in the States off of Bezos, off of Amazon.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm sure all the ones he's reviewing you could probably get through Amazon or like I like to do. Amazon's got the algorithm for search and stuff. It comes up with such a good list. Then I'll click on the thing and see who made it. Then I'll go to their website, and if it's like I said before, it's not like life saving medicine. If it takes an extra couple days, an extra week, and an extra $5, I'm buying it direct.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's just there's so many times I see things overseas and I'm just like especially with the Vampire Wars because they're made by I think Old Glory I
Yes,
think and
I
they're out
think
of the
Old Glory's
UK.
overseas.
Yeah, and like a $15 blister pack of minis costs 19 to ship. I'm like, yeah, no. I'll just wait. I'll just struggle through or find something similar.
Yeah, that's all.
Uh, they make some really neat minis, but when it comes to Gothic stuff, there's plenty elsewhere. I've been going through the Chronoscope line from Reaper, like for example, in the Gothic Wars game, you can have in your little skirmish band, whatever, people like Jack the Ripper or Sherlock Holmes, Van Helsing, Frankenstein, whatever. Reaper's got a great Sherlock Holmes mini in metal or plastic, and even the metal one's like $5. So if I find the right seller and buy a couple other things from them, I can get shipping for free. I
Yeah,
think there's a couple of places where if you spend 35 to 50, shipping is free. And when you're buying metal minis, that can kind of add up in weight. If you're
yeah.
getting squads and things like that, or throwing in some paint with it,
Now
all that sort of.
you know me and my 15 mils. I love them. They're metal and they're dirt cheap.
Oh yeah, yeah. Almost everything I'm buying right now, unless it's 3D printed, because it's just something I'm like, wow, I'm
Yes,
not gonna find that in metal.
yeah.
I'll splurge a little here on 3D prints, but for the most part, 9 out of 10 things I've gotten in the last couple of months metal.
Yeah, I've always liked metal. I do have some plastics. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, yeah, there's no way around it. Honestly, there really isn't.
no,
Um,
that's some things. That's all they make. That's all they do.
and like if Dungeons and Lasers was metal, my house would collapse. Because all those walls and floors, and I've got more. I've got more coming. They're waiting for me to send them $30. I keep forgetting for shipping and fees. California state tax. I ended up paying over $100 on tax alone for that order. But it's cool because they've got a 6 month payment plan, so it's like every month I'm paying like $100.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the Kickstarters are kind of cool when they have them payment plans.
and I'm gonna get in the mail two sailing ships that are about this big, about a little over 2 feet long. One in this really cool clear plastic. It's all this color,
Yeah, I remember you showing them off.
and I was looking at it yesterday. It's even got like a rowboat and some extra bells and whistles for the ghost ship, as it were. And all the I was looking at all the stuff that I had ordered, and I'm like, I'm not even going to paint or I'm not even going to clip like 30 to 40% of it because it's like tables and chairs and all kinds of little mini like plates and cups and shit like that. It's like I am never going to even clip that shit off the sprue until I, for some reason, like, oh, I need to set the table, for these. It's like I'm never going to do that, no matter how fancy I get. If I was doing like a full table with a castle and a dining room, I'm not going that kind of detail where, I got to get the salad fork and all that kind of crazy shit. But they did it. Not quite that, but there's definitely the cups and the bowls and decanters and things like that. Which
Yeah,
I suppose if you were doing like a diorama, that would be great. but I'm not doing that. Dioramas, man, that's
I do like doing some dioramas. I've got a
yeah,
few. They're fun.
right. But you get to a point where it's like I can't do anymore.
Well, you run
I
out
got
of
no
real
room.
estate.
Seriously, fucking
You run
serious.
out of real
I
estate.
mean, if I was to go that route, I would literally have to like build another room, and even
Yeah,
then, okay, after you fill two walls of dioramas that nobody's looking at, and
yeah,
then
they're neat.
they're
But
neat, but
do a
where
couple of them, and that's about it. That's all I did. I got two or three. Well, one. I have one that's a diorama where the minis are glued in place. They're mounted in place, and the other couple they can be used as terrain for encounters.
right. The only one I've ever really done, well, no, I did some with my old man back in the day. The only one I've got is this one, sort of Sheena of the jungle with her freaking panther.
Yeah,
That's the only one I've done in 40 some odd years. I've done like this Hydra over here. You can't really see it.
nice.
And I'm like, yeah, I've got a lot of big minis, but I try to get the base down to as small as possible. Hey, Janet, good morning. Because it's just like since it's taking up more and more and more space for things that Jackie and I and some of you guys out there in TV land will see, and then you'll forget about it. And then I'm gonna croak one day, and Jackie's gonna be like, "What do I do with all this shit?" And giving it away now it's all spread throughout the lands. But then when they croak, people aren't even gonna give two shits. Like throw it in the trash. It's just
Yeah, probably.
there should be some sort of Akashic Records place that we can throw all our dioramas, like a museum,
Well,
where
that would
people,
that would probably be a wing of the D&D retirement.
I mean, but if you think about it, like just nationwide, all of the dioramas and vignettes and things like that exist right now. If you stop time and we're like the Flash and can go through everybody's house and collect them all up and put them in a building, they would take up more than the Library of Congress.
Oh, well, yeah, they just take real estate. They're just so
I mean, floor to ceiling, and that ceiling could be 50 feet high. You could have freaking jetpacks to go up and look at them all, but nobody would. You know,
not many. No.
I mean, I mean, if right now there was a place you could tour, the Museum of Dioramas, you know, maybe if you were passing through that state, you might go, "Hey, let's go check this out." You know, it'd be like a one-time thing, and you'd literally forget 90% of the time you were there looking at this stuff. It's kind of sad. When you're doing it, when you're looking at it, when you're showing it off, it's great, but it's got like,
Limited replay value.
yeah, we need to take lots of pictures, but there's no way to like recycle them or get more use out of them. It would be neat if they could be used in movies as props or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
but
I used to work.
some of them are
Good.
so darn good. They could be in movies. They could be as a zoom in scene or as absolutely.
When I was younger, I got to hang out with the Hollywood Model Builders Association. I forget what it was called, and the stuff they did. But even all of that, all those movie props, even like the Shire in New Zealand, all gets torn down eventually and thrown away, and nobody, it's on film. Luckily enough for a good portion of that stuff. Some of it, like in Independence Day, they built the White House and then they blew it up. I mean, all that work, you know, to get it just right, and then it's really, really, really depressing when you think about it. So
Yeah.
my point is take your time on your painting and your dioramas. because that's the height of its appreciation.
Yep.
Is you the artist, uh, because no matter what your family says, when you're gone, it's going to end up in the trash. Unless
Yeah.
unless it's of something of a certain kind of quality that has like appeal outside of like wargaming or miniature gaming or role playing or things like that. Like if you painted up a Wolverine, right? Like a statue or a miniature, and it was like super cool and you did a really good job, that might stand a chance of surviving because it's so easily recognizable. But uh, like for example, this dwarf here. It's a really cool. I'm not a big dwarf fan, but this is a really cool
Yeah.
dwarf throne. Um, it's going to end up in a landfill. I don't know when. I don't know by who, but it will.
Yeah.
Even if my paint job was the best paint job that was ever applied to that particular miniature, of which there are probably close to 4,000 of that miniature out there, from my understanding of how that Kickstarter went. Um, 1,000 of them are never even going to get painted. Another 1,000 are never even going to get assembled. And of the 500 that have really good paint jobs, um, not one of them is going to last a century.
Probably not.
So make sure you leave it in your will, to leave it to the estate, that it cannot be destroyed. It has some sort of magical or supernatural significance, or that it's a key to the lost map of your other hidden treasure. We
Yeah. There
should
you
do
go.
that. We should all, like, right before we get to that point, is create like the old Billy the Kid and others, buried treasure somewhere, throughout the states or abroad, and force people to go on a treasure hunt looking for it. And then when they get to it, when they finally open it up, it's a box of miniatures, like a treasure chest full of miniatures and pogs and, and Magic the
Box of minis,
Gathering,
dice, and some AD&D rules.
and some I was going to say some Magic the Gathering cards, in hard plastic, and maybe a signed X-Men comic. And now they've got to go and try and find a way to redeem all that for actual money. I was thinking about that too. The you've seen comic books in the slabs, right? Those big hard plastic protecting things,
Yeah. Yeah. They've been graded.
and now nobody wants them.
No, I used to work with a guy. I still know him. I don't really keep in touch with him, but he's big into that. He's got all kinds that are graded and
Hmm.
encased, and
Slabbed, literally, like in carbonite, that nobody wants because you can't do anything with them but look at them as like a picture. Might as well just be a framed picture, that you go, oh yeah, once upon a time that was a comic book, but we can't open it now because contact with the air, it'll turn to dust.
well, the thing is though, if you're really into reading them, you can get a reprint and read it and go, wow, that's what
Yeah,
that.
that's why I've pretty much vowed to just only buy omnibuses and trade paperbacks for all my comics. They'll last longer. Other people can appreciate them. I'm actually going to, as I'm, like, giving away stuff from the channel, those things are not going to be given away, except for like when I get an extra, like I did with the Flash Gordon. I gave away the extra Flash Gordon
Yeah.
uh, newsprint book because I got volume number one, thinking I'll just buy them one at a time, and then I saw volume 1 through 6 for a really really good price, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just do that. Save me the time. Grabbed it. Now I had an extra copy of number one, so I gave that away. But I'm going to slowly but surely get rid of things like that, like minis and stuff like that, and whether I sell them or not, and then replace them with hardcover books that will last, and at the very least, have a fighting chance of survival. For Jackie's children and grandchildren, because if they pick up a copy of The Watchmen or Conan, they can appreciate that or not. At the very least, it's something that you can do something with. Unless
You can enjoy it.
you're lucky to have that family of gamers that are going to go, oh yeah, this mini that I'm putting on the war game table right now was assembled and created by your great 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 grandfather. That's probably not likely to ever happen. The generational continuity of a lot of our hobbies is on the wane, to say the least. That's
Yes.
why we've got to work harder with all of our children to get them to appreciate what it was we did. And if you're lucky, one and two, one and three, one and five will carry on the hobby, children, grandchildren, something like that. I don't think I'll ever see any grandchildren, but it can happen, And if I get lucky, and Jackie gets married and has kids, and like Bubba, I get to babysit. Well, guess what they're playing with, you know.
Oh, absolutely. They're playing with Grandpa in the games.
Yep, yep. That's like one of the main reasons I really want to open up a shop is so that as much as I want to make money, I can also give things away at a faster rate. People come in, hey, oh, you're the 17th customer of the day. Guess what you get?
Yep.
Get a free mini.
Yep. Exactly. Now having a shop like who was talking the other day, that would be tops.
Yeah, yeah. It's not out of the realm of possibility right now. I'm doing things when I'm not in front of the camera to make that happen, and it's just a matter of location. Who's that?
A truck went by.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. It was like it almost
I
sounded like
didn't hit.
animal.
Yeah, no, I didn't hit mute fast enough. Sometimes you'll see me mute. That's because the vehicle's going by. That's got a little growl to it.
Yeah, I was like, did you piss off your cat? Speaking of animals, where's my? Oh, there he is. I swear to God, this dog does more sleeping than anything else in the world right
He's
now.
living the best life.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm a little jealous. Not gonna lie. Hey, what happened to the other? I had another miniature I wanted to pull out of the package, start working on, but I think I've got enough on the table right now. I've got about dozen, 2 dozen, about 3 dozen minis on the table that I'm working on. Assembly line process.
Hmm. Oh, I feel you. These different periods of Japan samurai era. I got about
Holy
I'd say
smokes!
I'd say about 60 of them for $40.
And metal.
Yeah, they're 15 mil. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You get packs. This one's like
Sorry,
was like
the bag looked a lot bigger
yeah.
for some reason.
Nah, that's all of them. Yeah, it's got 12 of them. It was like six
Mhm.
bucks, $7.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
The smaller scale is definitely, um, not just cheaper, but more workable. When you want to do big battles and things like that. James and I have been talking a lot about that. When it comes to any kind of war game, like big war game, it's got to be small scale. We were even looking at like 3 mil miniatures,
yeah,
and I was absolutely amazed at the actual fact that they did have detail. You could tell what they were. In
yeah,
fantasy and sci-fi, um, like I'm a big tank guy. I like the crazy vehicles for like sci-fi war games. That was what got me into Epic. Was the idea that I could field a freaking, you know, a platoon of freaking tanks, and it wouldn't cost me shit.
Yep.
Just
You could have a
there's
couple
just
hundred
something more.
miniatures.
There's just something more grand about having those kind of scales, and because one little blob of plastic or metal versus another, you know, cost wise is not that big a thing, But when you know that like that whole side of the table, that's nothing but tanks, it's just like, oh yeah, this is it just makes it feel more epic,
Yeah,
and
definitely more visually appealing.
well, just like the imagined stakes, because like every vehicle could have 3 to 5 dudes inside there. They're all fighting for their life, sweating it out, trying not to get dead, and there's just something like it just feels like there's a greater cost, not just the manpower, but the technology and the potential damage that those units can do to the enemy,
Yep.
even though they're becoming more less and less relevant on the battlefield as technology gets greater and greater to the point where it even in our lifetime a lot of that could be made completely obsolete, and that a far-flung futuristic sci-fi fantasy world conflict could be nothing but pushing buttons from orbit, um, and there is no need for ground assault troops and things like that. Uh, Kind of takes the fun out of it, but it is probably an inevitability, whether it be drones and robots or orbital bombardment. You're not going to need like gun emplacements and things like that on the planet, unless you're the defender, and even then, they better have orbital range. Otherwise, they're just you know they're just going to get squashed.
Yeah,
But the detail, man, I was just absolutely amazed. You could see. I mean, obviously the images on the websites were magnified, but it's like, how did they freaking sculpt this? I mean,
I know, right? That's what's real amazing.
it's like what possible handheld implement could you use? You've got specially designed toothpicks and needles. Oh, this one's got a flat edge. How can you tell? Oh, well, because under the electron microscope, I can see. Yeah, I was like, just yeah, and even like the fantasy armies where there's units of horsemen and things like that, and you can tell that that's an elf and that's a dwarf and that's a vampire, even in 3 mil scale. I'm guessing it's gotta be some sort of computer assisted drawing programs
Oh, I'm sure.
that then go into uh, 3D printing on a micro level, and then the 3D print is thrown into the mold process, and then they just fill the mold with tiny, tiny little drops of metal, and they're done.
Yeah,
Freaking amazing! Thank God we have washers, eh? Solid color wash. Oh, this army's done.
yeah, yeah.
Because even like back in the day,
Two colors at most. This army's done.
when I was painting Epic Space Marines in 6 mil, we would do the the main uniform, then the shoulder pads another color, hit it with a wash, call it a day. You know, and even then you would actually, that was the only case where painting on the sprue was a thing. Everywhere else, where the sprue gates, you're gonna have to, if you paint it on the sprue and then you clip off the shoulder, suddenly there's that area that you can sand down and do all that shit, so you can't really justify painting them on the sprue. But with the 6 mil, the sprue gate was right under the base, so you could just whoosh, wipe across. Okay, there's a unit, there's a unit, there's a unit, there's a unit. When they dry, flip them over, do the same thing. Because there was only that one little connection underneath the base.
Yeah, that one little tab.
and you clip it, maybe sand it down, fit it into the base, and you're done. Easy peasy. But with these, I'm pretty certain they just come in like a bag like that. There's like here's 50 horsemen. Good luck. You're gonna have to tweeze a hold them with, some sort of alligator clip and get out the freaking micro magnifiers and your one hair paintbrush.
These work great.
Mhm.
20 bucks.
I've got this pair right here. It's kind of weird because it's got one, two lenses here. Well, we can't see it.
I've
Two
had
lenses.
those. Hobby or Harbor Freight, I think I got those from.
I got these from Hobby Lobby,
Or okay, it was either that or Harbor Freight, but yeah.
and even the light is adjustable.
Yep.
It you'd think I would use these more often, but I don't. I just use these cheap dollar store readers. Occasionally, I'll bring out my other ones up here, but they're kind of expensive and fragile, so I only use them for reading books. But these
Yeah,
work.
these was 20 bucks and the lenses, it's got the light, you can adjust it,
Mhm.
goes from one, two, easy recharge, and the lenses, there's comes with six different magnifications. You can
Oh,
just
okay.
pop
So they're rechargeable. That's pretty spiffy.
yes.
That is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, this is just
Mine are battery powered.
yeah, like a phone charger. You just plug it in and charge it,
Okay.
and they charge real quick.
Okay. That's cool.
And there's another pair. This is the same company, Yakuto Sun.
Uh,
Another pair I have. You might have seen people wearing. These are more like glasses. They stick close to your face.
yeah.
The other ones, they're like glasses, but they set out away from your eyes a little bit. I like those at times because these you don't get a peripheral. You're always magnified. The other ones,
Yeah.
when they set out, you can kind of look up and go, oh, and dip your paint and then look
Okay.
back down at what you're doing. And if you
Gotcha.
needed glasses, prescription glasses, they would go over them.
Okay. Oh my God! If you're not careful, you're gonna get X-ray vision doing that.
I know, right? Same, about the same price as these ones.
Really? That's
And
not bad.
they're.
I don't know.
I'll send you the links just so you can look at them. They're
Okay.
rechargeable like this one.
That's kind of
I'll,
cool.
I'll send you the link for both of them.
That is
But
pretty
yeah,
cool.
they got a one and a
I mean,
half.
it just makes sense,
Yeah,
with that technology.
think one and a half times to three times magnification lenses. Goes one and a half, two and a half, three, or maybe it's one and a half, two and a half, three. I don't know. You get four or five different lenses.
Cal says his are being held together by tape. Where can he get the best new pair, best price, etc.? Well, you came to the right place, I guess. Cal,
Yeah, let me here.
this
Let me.
really help your painting. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny. I didn't start using any sort of magnifiers until about 10 years ago. Someone wanted me to paint something for one of their displays and for Dungeon Dwellers, and he sent me a mini to paint, and I'm like, gosh, I wish I could. I forget what I said. He's like, well, you don't have magnifiers. I'm like, what? Yeah, like magnifying glasses that you wear. I'm like, what? Like I'm totally freaking retarded. I didn't even think about it. Like I've been painting since I was, not even a teenager. And I'm like, that's a thing. Oh yeah, I could just go get some like reading glasses. I actually what I got was these, and I haven't used them, but you remember these guys, right? The old Red
Yes.
Sox ones. These. Yeah, I think I took the batteries out because I knew I was never going to use them. Uh, Used to paint by the lick. Yeah, Yeah, you did just drop in at the right perfect time. I wanted to ask you guys because I've been thinking about it and hemming and hawing. I'm like, what do you guys think of the paint markers?
I had a couple. I bought a couple, the starter set or whatever. It had green, red, and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I They work really well.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that they work really, really well.
But
Well, my thing is, I got all these paints.
uh, I used to have a really nice desk mounted as well.
If I were getting into this, and you didn't have such a mountain of paints already purchased,
Right.
I'd buy the dog shit out of them.
Speaking of dog shit,
It's probably
I got
backwards, but that's the name of them,
no,
Cal.
no, it's not.
Yakuto son.
Doctor Son. I'm expecting mail, always a package, right? But my problem isn't just what you said. I have see, I don't paint so much that I don't fear that they would clog up and be a waste. You know what I mean? If I was using them like every day, paint markers, and that they wouldn't dry out and clog up the machinery, the mechanism that makes them work. How do you keep that from happening, especially where I live, where it's dry? Like we literally, like, 2 or 3 times a year we do a pen check. Every pen in the house we check and see if they work, and you would be amazed how many pens we throw away every year that never even got to get used. They just sat in a cup or a bowl or a box or whatever, and just dry up where
Yeah,
we live, especially in the garage, where my garage is about 120 degrees 6 months out of the year, and we keep a lot of stuff in there. And what I have to do, and the wife, she's like crazy. Um, I open the garage door and it decreases the temperature of the garage by 30 degrees, right? But she's like worried about what other people are going to say looking into our garage. And it's not like perfectly neat and tidy, but there's a car, in the doorway, so air's coming in, and mostly what you're seeing is a car, but you might see some boxes on the side or something, or the bikes. And she's like,
who
it's
cares?
just nobody cares.
As
Literally,
long, yeah, as
it,
long as it ain't like a big screen of, well,
right, right, which I would
a
prefer.
big screen of porn or dead bodies. Who cares?
That's the thing, is literally in today's day and age, people have gotten to the point of apathy where nobody even cares if someone walks into a store in their pajamas and Crocs and their ass hanging out. You
Yeah,
know,
there's no shame anymore. So who gives a shit what your garage looks like? If it's kept up enough that life happens, there's going to be a mess here and there. If it ain't like you're a hoarder or like I said, you got something horrific in there. Who cares?
James, here's the link. Sorry, it took me a second. There you go. No idea why you would want transparent marker. Well, I maybe, just the hint of that color, maybe. And yeah, I
Yeah,
can imagine that the tips don't fit in some tight spots. But I've actually used, here. Let me show you my favorite pens of all time: the Pilot V5s and V7s. Okay, that's like, it's a
yeah.
pretty small one. You know,
I got a set of, yeah.
and occasionally I'll use these to do lines, panel lines, and things like that. Or if I want to write something on a mini, which is very rare. I used to do it more in the days of Epic. I'd write names on the Titans and things, logos and slang and jargon and things like that. And it was fun, but and I do have uh, Dollar Tree had some paint markers that were empty and you could fill with your own paint. And
I
I'm
got
like,
those, but
and I never used them. I'm not sure.
I never
I
tried them.
like you said, I've got probably more than 750 bottles of paint in this house right now. Okay, easy that much. A lot of it's duplicate. About 100 of it is backup paint. For when I run out of black or white or something like that. Um, but you know, going, okay, let's say that they made a device that wasn't an airbrush, that I could pour a little paint in and it would work like a pen. It's, it's such a waste of time to go from one to the other. Where
Yeah,
I drop a drop in the palette, a drop of water. Okay, I'm running on 5, 7, 12 seconds, and I'm painting. With whatever. Um,
yeah,
speed is an issue. The more you get done, and the faster you paint, and the faster you get a result to where you go like, you are done. You can sit over here now with the rest of your brethren. Um, that's success. That is winning. That is the accomplishment we're striving for. Versus like my desk where I've got 100 minis on my table right now that are in one state of not done or another, um, ranging from just freshly primed to it's 90% done, but I just don't have the creative spark to go and finish it, or I'm like, do you ever get to the point it's like I have to put this over here because I'm not good enough to finish it?
yeah, yeah. And those words are yeah, similar words. I mean, there's some I put aside. I'm like, I'm just not sure what I want to do with this to finish it off,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna put you over here. And other times, I'm just like,
Like
all
this
right,
one here. From a distance, it looks pretty good. Up close, maybe even okay, but up really close, like up, no, not even
yeah,
close.
yeah,
And I'm really getting into these larger ones, uh, because not because of my eyesight, but because of the idea that other people can appreciate it. Just hopefully on the paint job and the fact is it's fucking Vampirella. I mean, what guy didn't have a crush on her? Back in the day or first time seeing her, you're like, oh, tell me more.
yeah.
That's all she wears all day long, every day. Yes, seriously, yes. Okay, I don't know how she keeps that clean, but yes, sign me up. Black and white, sure as shit, sign me up. Can't sleep anyways, so you guys can read me a story. Yes, I did. Cal, I saw the update. I'm already all in. Maximum freaking volume, freaking fully painted already. Send me all of it. Yes, eight. What is it? Eight themed expansions and 5 subsets. Yes, send me it all and hurry up and show me the other stuff so I can hurry up and fix my budget. Uh, oh, okay. The that whole Gothic Transylvanian theme. I mean, one Kickstarter should be enough to do Ravenloft, right? You feel me? I mean, the original module, not the new shit, but like you take out the old module of Ravenloft with everything I own between the city, the town, the streets, the dungeon, and now the castle. If I could get like two dinner tables, two ping pong tables, I could build Ravenloft in my game shop and just go nuts. James, how you doing? It's really that
Hey,
cold.
It is like 46 degrees in your money, gentlemen.
Okay, well, I'll trade you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's cold, man.
now you guys
It's
can
cold.
trade. I'm good right here at 73.
Yeah, you're right in the middle.
Hey,
You're
it's
right in
that's
the middle.
that's actually funny. It's like my end, it's 120. We got 70 and down to 40.
Well, I got a friend in
Not quite
Sweden
120.
who's I got a friend in Sweden who's having a heat wave at the moment. He's like, the world is upside down. He's like, you're freezing your ass off, and I'm up here enjoying a heat wave.
That literally is how the globe works. But it does seem weird, doesn't it? That
Yeah,
Well, if you believe Hyperborea, the world is flat. So
I don't. I don't.
I always liked that detail of that setting. I thought, oh yeah, that's a nice way to start. Like it's just a flat plane, you know.
Oh, it's a great setting.
Well, it
Yeah,
makes it easy for gamifying everything and limiting, what the DM has to do. It's like a nice little, mini world as opposed to like for my D&D game, I did something similar. I just said, you know what? I don't feel like designing the biggest freaking world again like I've done in the past. I'm gonna flood the some bitch. So there's like 8 islands and that's it. That's all I got to worry about. Lots of ocean, lots of crazy encounters in between. There's actually more than 8 islands, but you get my point.
yeah,
Like there's like
yeah.
90% of the world is underwater. Cool. I don't have to do shit in world building.
Like,
I mean, I did, but
I've shown fantasy maps to people, and they're like, "Oh, that's not how like rivers run. That's not how
I
they
know,
work."
right? Oh my
I'm
god.
like, listen, at my school we did a lot of praying and a lot of football, and we didn't really get an education. But
I
if
you
you
know
want to
I
talk,
go
if you
ahead.
want to talk markers, these guys, this brand AK, they have two kinds, and this kind has the brush head and like a button that you press on the end to dispense the paint, and it's opaque. It's not see-through like speed paint. But to me, that's ideal because you put your speed paint down and then you go back with your markers and you pick out like one or two things, right?
Mhm.
But I don't like this nib. I prefer this nib, the AK Real Color, because the tip is just so easy to manage. It's just like an ordinary marker, and there's no button at the end. Like the other one, you waste a bit of paint. With this
Mm.
one, and so anything like tactical markings or like a little weapon or a little pouch or a gem or something like that that I've missed, that's what I use the markers for. Because you always miss something. You always go back and you're like, forgot about that.
Yeah,
you know.
pouch or something.
So,
Are they refillable?
no, but they're cheap. So
Okay.
like they're not that expensive for what they are. I think the full set of like real color markers, these ones, it's like $60 US, which probably feels like a lot, but you get a lot of colors, and it's all the kind of like camo, metallics, wood and leather. It's all the practical colors. These ones are kind of more the fantasy colors, and these ones are kind of more the practical
So
everyday
like
ones.
how many markers per $60?
Well, it's probably comparable to like a paint set like this, where you get like, I don't know, 12 or
20?
14, you know, quite a few, quite a few. I bought them individually because I'm stupid. Like, I kept buying them and going, oh, I want more, and going back and buying. By the end, I was like, I should have just bought the
Okay.
set.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I tend to like with the paint sets do exactly that. I'll buy a big set, although the
yeah,
speed paint somebody sent me the speed paint set, which was 90 bottles of paint, which must have been a freaking arm and a leg for them. Or I'll
that's a
go
reasonable. That's a
and
reasonable.
buy
That's a
like
reasonable
10
deal.
individual bottles from uh, Gnomish Bazaar.
Yeah,
That way I get like a really I like the last time all I bought were the different technical paints. The neon and the uh, like this one right
well, I
here is
love
called
I love army
oil
painter.
stains. Like I just went and looked at
Don't get
all
me
the
wrong.
new weird effect paints
Army
and grabbed
painter
them.
just get better with time. Like they're consistently like always improving. But the
Mhm.
other brand that I really like is AK. Like those two are my guys, basically.
Mhm.
AK Interactive and Army Painter. I used to use a lot of Vallejo. I didn't like the new formula Vallejo. I realized that sounds really snooty given I'm just doing things to like tabletop standard, but had a lot of air bubbles and stuff in it that would dry on the model, and I was like, where'd that come from?
Oh, I hate that.
So
I found that um, with some
Hi,
of the
pal.
speed paints for Army Painter. um,
Hmm.
or maybe it's just because of the paint mixer and not letting it settle long enough.
Yeah, well, I used to put like a drop of airbrush thinner or a drop of IPA because that like kind of does the same thing and will
Mhm.
stop the bubbles. But the new Vallejo kind of speed paint, I was really excited to try it, and I bought like a big set, and I was like, these suck. You know, like I ended up.
The 2.0s
Um, no, the
or the
army
original?
painter speed paint, the army painter speed paint is fine, but the Vallejo speed paint, the
Oh,
Vallejo equivalent, the express color, it's really air bubbly for some reason. I mean, they might have fixed it since I tried it, but you know,
hmm.
like you'd be like moving an air bubble around with a brush trying to pop it and like going, this is gonna dry on the primer kind of thing. But you know, we're spoiled for choice these days. We've got so many different. If we had half the things we had when I was like young and had manual dexterity and eyesight, my God, you
No, no,
know,
no, 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 no. I'm gonna say right here. I think our skill level over the years we get better and better with maybe not specifically. Nice. You have to show us a close up of that in a minute. Our manual dexterity may wane or ebb and flow, but what's up here, in the old brain pan, the
yeah.
techniques we've learned and when and where and how to do things makes all the difference compared to when we were kids. I didn't even know about freaking washes and dry brushing until like
Well,
almost like after Jackie was born. So
I was using washers as a kid, but I was using them in a very like, oh, it's liquid talent. I'm gonna throw a wash at just everything. Like I'm just gonna hose
yeah,
everything down with like
who doesn't
brown
still
ink.
do that?
Yeah, I kind of still do a bit, but I thin it a bit more now.
Right, right,
Like,
right. We
yeah,
see that knowledge, is key.
yeah. I mean, I've always been a big wash guy anyway. That's kind of how I like to do things. It's like start bright and then grime it down. You know, a
Well, and
couple of
then you
layers.
can always, dry brush it back up,
Yep.
and you get that more of a 3D, visual effect from it. Now, uh, Squirrel has been bragging about his new static grass applicator.
Oh yeah.
For those out there in
I
TV
wouldn't
land who
say
don't,
bragging, but yeah, I'm messing around with it.
can you explain what it is for those who might not understand or know what that specifically is? Because it's absolutely freaking amazing what
Let me
it is, what
try
it
it
can do.
out here. All right, I got a base covered in some blue.
I'm actually going to biggerize you so everybody can get the full effect of what this is because it's
Oh yeah, I
freaking
see. Like he's sifting it. Very good.
no, no, no,
It
no, no.
looks
It
like
does more than that.
there's a little bit of an air tube there for like making it stand up, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's literally like a static electrical charge. Is that
yeah,
correct?
here,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me switch the camera around because you have to when you're done using these things. It holds the charge. Okay, you've got to do this, or it will
Oh,
shock the shit
okay.
out of you.
Right.
And it's only run by two AA batteries.
What if I just like being shocked over and over again?
Well, then you've probably come to the right channel
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
because there's all kinds of weirdos here, and we're not going to shame you for that particular fetish. Not on camera. We'll make fun of you, off
Yeah, yeah,
camera,
in the
but
Discord.
Oh yeah, at the club we'll make funny of it.
yeah, we don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
discourage other people from coming on and talking about their freaking peccadillos.
Or
But
electrocuting their nipples.
And
if
believe
that's
me, I found out the hard way with that. I didn't read the instructions, which there's not that many instructions to this thing. I didn't
What's
read
that
them,
zero?
and I touched it, and boy, did it make. I was surprised for 2 AA batteries. I was like, holy moly, that
So
hurt.
it lit you up. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So to recap, it takes this microscopic, almost fake grass, and it gets it to stand up. Like with a
Yeah.
lot of flocking, it just
Yeah.
falls over in little,
Yeah.
more or less a pile
Well,
or a layer. This stuff
Yeah.
will make
Yeah.
it stand up, so it can look like your miniature is tromping through the grass.
yep.
Hmm.
Brush, whatever, freshly cut, mowed lawn, whatever. Um, and I've seen it. Like, okay, I'll show you this diorama right here. Uh, it's not that. Okay, it's just flock, but I do have some tufts here and there, and apparently a
Hmm.
dusty thing here going on. But it's just powdered, fluff, and it doesn't look like real grass that I'm
She looks
aware
like
of.
she's
Maybe in the
getting
jungle, it's pardon.
she looks like she's getting a good stretch in there. Like
Yeah,
she's kind
she
of
is. It's a
working up.
ridiculous pose, but
She's
you
kind of
know,
working up to like she's about to like take off. Like she's like, yeah, she's been
I,
training
I
all
I know
season for
it's
this.
it's ridiculous, but um, I don't get to, custom design the larger figures,
Well,
but when I see
it's
it,
like when you assemble stuff, like you make a really cool pose, but then you go back to kind of just check the parts that they've glued together right, and then you kind of just knock it and it looks goofy, and you're like, well, that's frozen it.
yeah, I know, right? I have done that too. This
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
unfortunately, and some of the other ones, because it's actually a Reaper Mini. Um,
Uh-huh. It
you
looks
know,
it's a
you,
cool
there-
mini
you,
though.
it's you can only put it together the one way without
Yeah.
serious modifications, and I wasn't up for that, and it turned out
Well,
okay. I was happy with it. Um, I've always liked
the
that.
most exotic the most exotic I go for is like a head swap, or a shield swap
Mm,
or something. Really. But
but like I was
worth
telling
finding.
Squirrel earlier, I'm getting into doing more larger uh, single models like that. Just make a little mini
Hmm.
vignette. Just to
What kind of figure is that, Squirrel? Is that a samurai or something? Or
it is, or an Ashigaru.
cool.
Excuse me. Yes, it's a samurai.
Sweet.
I'm not sure what period because I forgot what I ordered, but that's one of my finished ones.
Yeah.
It is samurai.
Yeah, I mean they're all more or less kind of just Renaissance dudes anyway, really. Like if you're talking about that.
I think he
And a
came
bit
out pretty good, and that static grass is
yeah.
neat.
Yeah, that is
It's just
cool.
something different.
It's well, it just gives the whole thing a little bit more realistic look, and for
And believe me, this stuff. Uh, if you're basing a field or something, for a scene diorama or just a scene like for terrain or whatever, it would work way better than it does just on a little base for a 15 mil.
I have two kinds of ground texture that I've always wanted to use, but I've never had a good project for it yet. And I think I've got a couple coming up where one is like just like red ore, like red
Mhm.
sand, but it's quite coarse. Like it's almost like little stones. It's like
Okay.
perfect kind of Martian kind of desert. And the other one is like it's a dark green flock, but it's got pink through it, so it looks like heather. Like it looks like kind of North European. It's very cold kind of heather with a few kind of
When I use
bluebells or something through it.
with this particular static grass applicator, it actually came with 6 bags, and
Oh,
there's a
nice,
darker green of
nice.
static grass you can use. With that, what I was using, I mixed these two together a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, well, I love the yellow. I love the yellow grass, like that kind of
Yeah,
dry, you know.
yeah, it
Like
dries it out a little bit.
out here we get a lot of dandelions, and
Hmm.
that's what I was thinking. Just your traditional dandelion weed that just pops up everywhere during the springtime, and just you would think, because of the contrast of the yellow and the green, that people would be like, oh, that's nice, it's not all uniformly green. But no, 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 freaking, we've got it
They
in
want
our
to
head
bulldoze it.
that it's horrible, it's a bad thing, you've got weeds, oh no,
Yeah.
like
I mean, there is something to be said for that kind of permaculture where you just let plants kind of grow around each other and like,
sure.
you know, fertilize the ground and like keep a bit of diversity in the foliage, but we have to cut ours back because we get snakes. So, you know.
Well, for us, it's entirely a even though we don't live under a home ownership association,
Mhm.
it's become like that. Everybody wants
Mm.
their yard to be just freaking plain and boring,
Yeah, it's
um,
all about the looks.
which I
Mm.
think is less attractive. The little bit of yellow popping up here. We've also got this other stuff that's almost like a lavender. It's like it's not a moss. It's not I mean, I guess it might be technically a weed, but it's got these really thick but little tiny leaves. It's kind of a lavender and little patches here and there. I'm like, that kind of looks nice. It breaks up the green monotony. It's like, nope, 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 got to kill it. It's not what we want. And I'm like,
Might be some kind of clover or something.
it's thicker than clover. It's almost like a succulent, but a microscopic or micro succulent. I don't know how it survives out here, but it sure sucks up the water and is kind of hard to get rid of, and it's thick and heavy versus some of the other weeds that we get. But like, yeah, who cares? We've got yards, alternating yards that are bone dry, or they're rocks and gravel and things like that. A couple of really nice yards. Ours is like right there in the middle, depending on which day of the month it is. Like right after we cut it, it looks like everybody else's normal yard. It can get kind of bushy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nobody cares. Literally, nobody cares. As long as it doesn't decrease the property value of your neighbors, and even then that doesn't happen here like you would think, because it's fucking California. And even the shittiest house in my neighborhood is, it's a small fortune. You could literally sell that crappy house,
Yeah, we've got a
move,
we've got a
move
similar effect
anywhere in
here.
the world, and have twice the property and twice the house.
Probably quite a bit of property in Australia is a little bit overvalued as well, like just a little bit. Um, but I mean, our neighbors are very flexible. Like our yard always looks a bit crappy, but our neighbors are pretty flexible. As long as we cut the grass, I don't think they care. You know.
I heard something, and I don't know that how true it is, but I see these videos of these lawn maintenance guys who say that, you know they offered or they were asked to do some yard work for some little old lady who's going blind, and the
Yeah,
neighbors got all mad and called the homeowners
that's
association
me.
because
I am a blind little old lady. I never have one of these people just walk past and go, "Hey,
where
can I do all
apparently
this yard work for you?"
where where
Oh,
apparently
casualty. That looks
nice.
great. He's just having a
Apparently, it's a
snooze.
thing somewhere in the states that you can only have people cut your lawn that are approved.
Yeah, I heard of people in the UK getting in trouble for collecting trash out of like parks and stuff like that, cleaning up the parks without a permit because of safety considerations. And I'm just like,
What it is
surely you're taking on the responsibility of like having some gloves and like thick gumboots yourself when you decide to do that. But okay.
what it's all about is unions and organizations that are getting paid and have a deal with the state or the city, so that they do the job they get overpaid to do the job, and anybody else coming in takes money away from them doing the job. So you
Well,
can't like
I think
hire.
also the political culture has changed where it used to be more like in a kind of more like the old English legal system was more like leave people alone, trust people have the good common sense and conscientiousness to kind of govern themselves in a good half of situations, and that's changed towards a more rights based. Let's get the lawyers involved. Let's get safety involved. Like everybody makes a bit of money out of like making the process more complicated, right?
Yeah, it's fraud. It's a scam. It's like the unions have a stranglehold on that particular occupation or service, and if you have somebody else come in to do it, even if they're doing it for free, that's taking away from them being able to overcharge somebody.
Well,
You
the
know what I
thing
mean?
is, if people around here, and there are quite a few people who I see volunteering, which is why I started doing it in days when I wasn't like, I'm like, I don't have a lot on today. I might clean up the park a bit. Um,
That's awesome.
like I see people do it a lot, and that made me want to do it because I'm like, if people around here didn't do it themselves, like the council would only come like when it got really bad. So,
Mhm. It at first I thought it was like a scam. These videos,
mhm,
where this this old lady, she can't do the yard work herself, and she can't afford
yeah,
it. Then she gets a notice that she's going to lose her house if she doesn't cut her yard and clean it up. And then she has somebody come in, some guy who just volunteers to do it for free out of the kindness of his heart. And then the
mhm.
the Karen in the neighborhood calls the cops, and I'm like, this has got to be AI bullshit, just playing on your heartstrings. But then I looked into it, and it's like these HOAs are paying people, and the HOA uh,
What a
administrators are
great cat.
are double charging for the the yard work, and crap like that, because like we have Mexicans who'll cut my yard for $20, but damn
Hmm.
well if an HOA got involved, it'd be like 75, you know, right?
Yeah, I mean that whole kind of economy of just doing things for people for cheap or for materials or whatever, it kind of goes away a second officialdom comes into it. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
Yep.
my neighbor was like, "Oh, you're insulating your garage?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I've got all the foil you need, so you don't need to go out and buy that. I've got a big roll of that, and I've already used as much as I'm going to use, so I have the rest of it. Save me
that's
a hundred
awesome.
bucks."
That's
You know,
that's that's a human being.
Right.
yeah. He's a bit crazy, but he occasionally does something very nice that makes me think, "Oh, all right, well, you can keep doing whatever crazy stuff you're doing over there at number one." you know,
I
building a
didn't
death
see
ray.
nothing.
He's building a death ray probably. He's very handy old guy. But
Very mad scientist.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
That's
he
awesome.
he was just like, yeah, this is how I did my garage, and all you got to do is just tape the foil to the garage door, basically in a way that doesn't look retarded, like a fool put it in. And I'm like, all right, I'll do my best.
What's up, Steven?
That cat is the best.
He's my pal. That's his
I
name,
mean, I'm a
pal.
bit I'm a bit worried about his little dictator mustache, but you know,
It's funny. I have an Instagram, and I put a reel up, and it's got you'd get a laugh out of it
we'll be making sure this one goes to art school this time.
and passes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, no. You're brilliant paintings. Very, very good. Please step this way to your
Give him
student.
straight A's. Let him be a painter.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
leave
yeah,
him be.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We could have lived without that. I mean,
Yeah, that's my pal. He's about 8, 9 years old.
yeah,
We had a
yeah.
scare. a week ago, 2 weeks ago. We rushed him into the vet for an emergency visit because he hadn't eaten in some time, and it just ended up he had a upper respiratory infection, and it just really took hold of him. So they kept him for 4 days, 4 nights.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had to pump him full of fluids and food and antibiotics, all that good stuff, and he got back on his feet, and we got him and continued with the medicines, and he's
Oh my
back
God.
back top form.
I
I
just
take it.
threw.
I take it he's eating again,
Oh
like a
yeah, yeah,
machine.
he's top form. He's his old self.
Speaking of we
Yeah.
taught it, I'm shaking a bottle of paint, right? And I just freaking
Mm.
I did it twice. My hand's not working apparently. I threw it across the table twice now. Just trying to shake the
Yeah.
freaking paint.
I did that with an open bottle of gold paint about a week ago when
Right.
Ree comes tearing down the stairs to tell me something, and I did not expect her. I think I had headphones on or something. And so she comes bursting through the door, and I'm like, "Whoa!" So the gold paint goes flying through the air, and I was working on a Space Marine from like a board game, and I was like, I think just snapped his arm. And she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get a do not disturb sign." And she's like, "You put the sign on the door if you're doing anything with a blade or anything that I don't want to see."
Or just wire it a little switch with a red light, like when they're developing photo film, red light. Don't
Oh
enter. Ding.
God, my
Yeah,
hands are not
Sting
working.
Sting already promised me that I wouldn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I've got one of these. Can you see it on the air? I need to get another one for the outside, but Grandma doesn't speak
Rotten.
English and can't read, and everybody else just doesn't give a shit. Um,
Ah, well, the Spanish for that is just on aero. Yeah, you just put an O on the end of it. It's done.
right, right. You would think, but it's not a matter. Grandma never bugs me. It's the wife, but she'll come around to the Brady Bunch door over here to the shared bathroom, and she'll do stuff, and get my attention. Um,
Ah, I wish I was half the man my mother-in-law thinks I am. She just thinks I'm the best thing since sliced bread. And
You're
I'm
good.
like,
Run with it.
I've really done nothing to warrant this at all. But okay, like I'll count my blessings.
Run with it.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Keep up that illusion as a miracle worker, and you'll never have a free moment.
Well, I think they're just like, you put up with our daughter, so
Oh, okay. Well,
here's your
there's
medal,
always that, right?
here's your medal and your driver.
New driver. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what are you working on now, James?
Well, it's 3:29 on Wednesday morning, the 24th of June. So not much, but earlier today or yesterday, I took a bunch of sprues from the Dark Age Army Builder kit from War Games Atlantic and gave them a soapy rinse and a dry off. And I also, so over here, it's the Dark Age Army Builder. It's kind of a generic Dark Age kit, but it's pretty damn good. Oh, yeah, that looks good, squirrel. Let's zoom in it. Maybe put your hand behind it so I can. But I also, I'll have to hold up my improvised spray booth here. I also sprayed a whole bunch of bases. These are MDF bases, so I have sprayed the underside with automotive filler primer, and that stops them from getting soggy or warping or tearing when I have them like blue tack to my wooden craft blocks that I use for painting. Some people use lids. I use these little wooden craft blocks
Oh,
to
okay.
mount my figures. A bit easier for me to hold, stuff like that. So yeah, I started my dragon rampant or lion rampant Saxon army tomorrow, actually,
Nice.
after a bit of a snooze. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
dragon
got
rampant, lion rampant. That's a good set of rules.
yeah, I've got a friend who I met him on Discord. He's like a local guy. He's not too far from me, and he's into the dark ages. He's into fantasy gaming. Doesn't mind a bit of sci-fi and black powder as well. So we might get a chance to do a whole bunch of stuff that I've just had painting random minis for, like without any real direction. Because if you don't have an opponent, like you're just kind of painting to paint, right?
Well, I mean,
So
that's part of the joy is painting just to paint.
well, it took me a long time to enjoy it. Like Fritz was like, you need to learn to enjoy painting, and I was like, I didn't really understand what that meant for a long time. And then after a while, I was like, this is like really relaxing, and
What's up,
I'm
off
not
Yes,
grid?
thinking about anything. Yeah,
yes, I do most of my painting just for painting's sake. I mean, a lot of these little models they will hit the table, but I know a good
but
chunk of them won't, and I'll probably end up putting them in some kind of small 15 millimeter scale diorama. You know, about the size of a dinner plate or something.
Okay.
yeah. But what I'm saying is like it's easier to like finish whole units and like finish whole boxes and minis when you actually like go, all right, I need this many for a game, and like the game's coming up. Whereas before it would just be much more random, and I would be like giving the minis away to people that I knew. I was like, do you want this little spaceman? You know, so or do your kids want these little goblins? You know, stuff like that. I would end up just painting them for practice. Whereas now I'm like, he wants to play Lion Rampant. My brother wants to play some Mordheim. Starting to get a few opponents lined up. Feeling a lot more motivated as a result.
That's awesome.
Yeah, inspired, motivated. That's
Yeah,
part of the joy.
I've always had this rule. Um, I try not to paint something that I don't want to paint. If I
Yeah,
don't want to paint it, I just don't paint it. You know, but when I can't wait, like since my studio is upstairs and I only come up here for the most part, because I want to do something. When I'm like I'm not doing a show, I'm not hanging out with people, I'm not in a live call or chat or whatever, and I'm downstairs and I'm like, I want to go paint. That's the best I'm gonna be at painting. You know what I mean? When
yeah,
I'm thinking about painting away from painting. When I sit down here, I'll do a show with you guys. Sometimes I won't even pick up the brush. But like I'm working on this piece now, and I'm like, I can't wait to freaking, you know, put paint on it and see what I can do with it. Um, for whatever reason, I know that at the very least, I'm going to enjoy it, and if I'm going to enjoy it, that means I'm going to, uh, not necessarily take my time at it, but focus on all the techniques and all the skills that I
Yep.
have to make it work, and I'm firing on all 8 cylinders to the point
Yep.
that it stands a better chance of coming out really good than a chance of it turning out like crap.
Yeah.
well,
Inspiration can bring focus.
the other good thing is the two people I'm playing with, like, they both appreciate historicals, but they're kind of okay with me kind of like blurring the edges with fantasy a little bit, and they're both like painting, but they're kind of okay with me painting a little bit more abstract if I have to hit a bunch of numbers. You know what I mean? Like if I have to do like 20 spearmen really quickly, they're getting 4 colors in a wash. So um, it's good to have people who are like not expecting golden demon level. They're just like starting our little war games club where your stuff does have to be painted, but like there isn't like pressure. I saw a couple of like war games clubs in my area and they're cool, but the standard of stuff and the size of tables and the size of armies and just the amount of money that these guys have like put into it, I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. you know.
Well, you can
So
rest assured that when when they get to rolling dice, they've made it a priority to have the best damn time they possibly can have when that time
Yeah.
comes, and
Yes.
that's we're all shooting for. You know, I find that I can't even remember 90% of the games I've played. When it comes to wargaming, but those games where the table was tits, everybody was freaking in a great mood, everything was painted. Regardless of whether I won or not,
Yeah.
I can remember those visual details, of the table and the minis, etc. Far better when it's done up right, as opposed to some of the early games I played with just books as buildings and dry erase markers and stuff like that.
Well,
On grid
for
maps and
terrain,
stuff
I've got
like.
a good mix of, I've got a good mix of like 2D, like neoprene stuff that you would see in kind of like tournaments, and then more crafted stuff. Like I've got a couple of hills and some woods and stuff, but I've also got a bunch of that cardboard battle systems terrain. I haven't even looked at it yet.
Well, off grid. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's we're talking about painting, so if it's not your bag at the moment, I get it. What are you doing right now besides getting pissed off at the news? They should just say it should be pretty much called the bad news, because there is no good news on the news anymore, unless it's that Scheuden Frouden, whatever the fuck it's called, where you're like you're watching something bad happen to somebody you hate, so it's good news. What's that called?
Well, also I think,
Schadenfreude.
Okay, I was close.
yeah, yeah,
My German is
yeah.
non-existent.
Also, I think that nothing is permanent when it comes to politics. You know, change is like happening all the time. It's just you're not seeing it on the news. And if you want to make the biggest impact, the best way to do it is definitely locally, I think. Once you get up
It,
to
it
the
really
level of
does,
like,
Stephen.
yeah, once you get the level of like national politics and the international politics, and like I don't really
Thank you.
feel like
Thank
I
you.
have
I was
much
close.
influence.
Yeah, and until you know certain things happen, all we can do is
Well,
either
also I
ignore
think
it, participate in it, or do some really really bad things. And I'm not in the mood to do some really really bad things right now. Um,
yeah, there's a bit of ambulance chasing going on with the UK where people are like, they want things to get worse so that they can get their version of like things getting better. But I don't know if we should ever wish things to get worse. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like,
But as a
I don't,
as a
I
as a
don't,
Christian, I can't participate in certain not just activities but thought processes, because I've been down those roads before, and they really only lead to one place, and not really wanting to.
well, also tomorrow they could just have another prime minister and
Um,
another, and then another, and then another. You know?
well, the only problem with that off grid is that last week there were two people out of four, and
Ow.
I don't know what, like you guys were getting ready to go into a dungeon, right? And let's say we did that. What, they stay outside until the following week, or I run them for them? There's only so much you know could be done when half the group is gone. When literally exactly half of the players can't make it, what do you do in a D&D game? And they're about to go into a dungeon. You leave the half outside, and then miraculously the next week they just ran through and found everybody, or teleported to everybody. Um, I don't know how to do that. I am looking at getting some new players for that game, but like, as you know, off grid, your new character, I had to make him up at 8th level. For some folks, that's like, well, you took away the best part, getting to eighth level. I'm like, this isn't the game for you. You know, um, we're you know eighth to 13th level in the party. Um, that takes a whole different level of play. That, believe it or not, from my what I'm learning is that, you know 70% of players have never made it to that point. They keep going first to seven for the last 50 years, never making it to the higher level games. So bringing them in as a 10th level character might be beyond their ability to gel with the group.
I think that almost when you get like your first role playing book on your own as a kid, or like someone at school introduces you to it, like probably the first 3 or 4 times you sit down with it, you're just rolling different characters and looking at the monster manual anyway, right? So
That's what I do.
like it takes a yeah, yeah, it takes a while to get something off the ground. I think the hard thing is like finding a time that's agreeable for everyone, right? You go, oh, I like Thursday night, and then everyone else goes, oh, that's not so good for me, you know.
Hmm.
But you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you're really like dreaming of this long, like sandbox campaign in something that isn't just constrained to like fantasy or sci-fi, but is like a mix of both. You'll get there. I know
Oh,
you'll reach the promise. You'll reach
that's
the
that's
promised land.
that's literally where we are. It's just that over the course of 2.5 years, we went from like 8 players down to 4 for
Yeah.
various reasons. And now when
Oh,
life gets in the way, like Offgood was saying, only 2 people could make it out of 4. I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's
I
not
use
their.
that expression. I use that expression way too much. I need to stop saying it because like I have so much free time. What's getting in the way for me, except for me? you know?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it would literally, it would not just penalize the people who don't make it, but it would kind of shortchange the players who do. Because let's say I keyed a room, right, with some really badass things in it, right, and one particular character who can't make it would probably make short work of that room or that threat or that problem, but he ain't there that day, and the people who are
Mhm.
there that day, they're out of their element. Let's say, do I
Yeah.
do I change? Do I quantum ogre that room away and wait for the group just to be full? Do I,
I don't.
kill off 2 players because they're the only ones who showed up? Yeah, and
Depends.
not like kill intentionally, but you know,
It depends. I mean, like, I don't like the whole adversarial DM.
I
Welcome to my
was.
magical, welcome to my magical realm, bitches kind of style, right? Like, it's good when
Mm,
you work together, but like, if people aren't showing up consistently, then I would say, yeah, man, you're just like in real life, like you have been diverted somewhere else. Like you're not continuing with the campaign. Soldiers desert a campaign. Like it's not uncommon. You
yeah,
know.
it's not necessarily a regular occurrence for them to not be there. But we are all of a certain age and have actual lives, and sometimes shit gets in the way or happens, and
Yeah, but I
we're
mean,
all good. We're all good enough
if
friends
you
that
have a
we
set
can very.
time, if you have a set time and someone just keeps like not showing up, I'd be like, okay, well, we're gonna write you out for the time being, and if you can come back later, like we'll try.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We had to do that with Grim because he just couldn't make it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. He's like
And
working a lot, and doing health stuff and family stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
other folk,
You need to find some real bums like me who just probably have nothing better to do except bake muffins.
and it is Sunday night, which I'm amazed. um, what do you call it? It's just, mind you, we're playing with people. In what happened to Squirrel? I was painting. I missed that. I'm sure he'll be back.
We
Okay.
didn't say bye, so I think he dropped out, but he'll be back.
One guy in Canada, one guy in Ireland, one guy in Texas, one guy in California.
Hmm.
Two guys in California. Excuse me. So
Hmm.
Cal's always there. I think he's missed like one game in a long time. I have never. No, no, no. I think
Well, I'm glad he gets.
last July I was
I,
out for a month, but
I'm glad he gets to game because he always said that he had trouble finding people to play, and it's a common enough problem.
yeah, I don't know about. Hold on a second. Uh, Shit, my touch screen does not like me touching it. Larry the Downing has ousted last seven. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, I think that's not possible off grid. Um, Cal works Monday through Friday, and wife time, that sort of thing. Omen, I only see him on the weekends. Um, Armstrong is already playing at what is technically like his 4 a.m. Um, well, yeah, that's you, and I don't know what your schedule is like Monday through Friday, but um, after this show, I'm booked until 5 p.m. and from 5 p.m. my time, which is 8 p.m. your time, to midnight Monday through Friday. I'm still trying to revise my schedule now that the boy is home. Oop, I'm going the wrong way. I get it off grid, and who's chasing it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's usually Armstrong, but then I mean Armstrong had some really bad things happen to him, and he's finally kind of getting back to his normalcy, if you will. And uh, Oben, he misses a fair amount of games because he's traveling or son issues. And like I said, I haven't missed a game in a year, or July will be a year. Um, Maybe we should talk about stuff like this with the guys and see how they feel. This is why the B&B. Well, I don't know what you mean by that, and we don't talk about that particular game or company on this show for reasons that I can't go into right now. Um, I'm not going to promote or say anything good or bad about them. Uh, Period.
So take that, Milton Bradley.
Yeah.
Sell me Monopoly with no boot.
I got this lot of, what are they? Zero, double zero, and triple aught brushes, and not happy. Not happy at
Ah,
all.
you're a
I mean,
man of
I mean, I
culture.
know
I
I paid.
recognize. I recognize Chinesium when I see it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I paid about a penny a brush, and
You
I'm
know
definitely
what?
getting what I paid for.
If ever you wanted to understand what true traditional Catholicism is all about, I have a couple, like 3 or 4 packets of really nice Wargamer brushes from like Vallejo and like AK and lots of detail brushes. But what do I use? The same Chinesium brushes that I deserve because I'm a sinner. you know, I'm not worthy of the good brushes yet.
It's funny you say
So
that.
I keep.
I've got somewhere back here. I've got this box, It's like the emergency box with
Yeah,
my like holy sword like brushes. You know, the really
yeah,
expensive brushes that
yeah,
I'm never
yeah,
going to touch,
yeah,
unless I'm
yeah.
painting that you know
I don't
really.
understand myself sometimes. I just like don't get it. I can't bring myself to use the good ones because I'm like I'm just not worth it yet. Like I'm not there yet.
All right, off good. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow. Have a good day. Um, but yeah, it's got like I want to say like a really good army painter brush and a Kalinsky brush and
Yeah.
a couple. Yeah, sorry about that, off grid. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to. I hope you didn't waste your time over here, but you never know what we're going to talk about uh, from one day to the next. Whatever happens,
I
happens. You
mean,
know, it's
generally speaking, if I'm on, I'll always like strong arm the conversation to miniatures and painting. Sometimes feel bad about that, but
I
I try
wouldn't.
not to come on every time to
I
do
don't have like a
that.
super
You
new
know,
game that I'm hyping or really pumped about. I play most of the old shit,
does
or
anyone even need new rules? Like out of anyone's, you take anybody's book collection, whether they're a war gamer or a role player or both.
no,
Does
no.
anyone really need new rules?
I've come to the conclusion that most of the knockoff games that have come out in the last couple of decades. Thanks, Squirrel. I don't need. I'm not going to play. The idea that I'm going to get inspired by them. Well, if it takes me a $40 book to get one inspiration, I've wasted my money, and I should have just probably, spent that money going outside. Going to
Yeah, I
some
mean,
event or
old doesn't necessarily mean bad. Like we don't discard all music from the past or all
right.
clothing from the past or all films from the past. Like, there are some
But
games that have just kept going for like 100 years.
yeah, I mean
Like
checkers, chess.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
rules don't change. Battleship,
yeah.
Monopoly.
Or if they have changed, it's been over such a long period of time, nobody's really noticed. Like, like, you know, but yeah, sometimes I feel bad because like I'm so like simplistic about my approach to it, but I really do just have that feeling of a kid walking into the hobby store and seeing the train set run around and seeing the armies in the glass case and the Gundam models on the wall and like all of it. Like and just I love that little micro world that you can make, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like directing your own little movie, you know?
It's what it is. In both RPGs and war games, and depending on the participants, will determine all the little factors. The fun factor, uh, how long do you keep doing it, the
Well, I used to
replayability.
think of the old like battle report photos in White Dwarf, how they'd have like, everything posed out with the terrain and like I did that with a
Mhm.
bunch of sci-fi models. I like just took my shipping container terrain and a battle map, like laid it out and like photographed it and then like messed with it in Photoshop and I was like, this is great. This is like making my own little White Dwarf, you know. Even though I just kind of like posing them like, almost like a little diorama.
Mhm.
I'm like, this is fantastic.
I used to do that with my epic stuff,
Hmm.
but I never kept up with it, and I didn't like write up the battle report. So it's like sometimes uh, if I'm
Well,
hard pressed, I might remember the battle.
I just photoshopped it a bit. Like I'd kind of, mess with the effects and the light balance and the softness and stuff, just to kind of make it look a bit more real or like
Mhm.
a bit more alien. But I kind of want to get back into. I'm not a good photographer. Like my brother is got a journalistic background, and he looks at photos that I've taken. He's like, "You really just point and shoot, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." But you know, I mean,
So
my
does
father, who's a
99% of the
photographer.
rest of the world.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, my father, who's a photographer, used to say the same thing. He's like, "Wow, you just point the camera and shoot. You don't think at all, do you?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to catch a candid shot more often than
Right,
not."
right.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
because I realized, like, even in photos of myself and photos of my friends and family, like, your friends and family look like the kind of beautiful people in your memory that are like really significant to you when you catch them in
Mhm.
that candid, when they're talking to someone else with a smile on their face, you know, like
Mhm.
not when they're posing for the camera,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I was taking pictures of Jackie and his friends. You know, when they weren't looking and stuff, those pictures turned out much better than the ones
Hmm.
where they're like, you know,
Hmm.
doing the thing. You know, yeah. I mean, I enjoy those as well. Uh,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
you
But I
know
mean,
Jackie will have them and be able
those are
to.
the ones that he'll look back at and be like, oh, you know, I can't believe I was this young
Mhm. Mhm.
someday, you know.
But the other ones, you know, where, you know, like Jackie's, you know, gesticulating, dungeon mastering, and the players like, oh, you know, stuff like that I caught, you know. Um,
I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what kind of thing he's kind of like stitched together from all the different influences that he's gotten into over the years, you know, like when you told me he was a big Hearts of Iron fan, I was like, yeah, I can see that.
mhm,
The
mhm.
alternate history thing, and
Uh-huh.
you know,
And I have no idea
that
what he's working on now. I mean, none.
you kind of successfully imprinted on him that like there's no there's actually no line between sci-fi and fantasy, like
Mhm.
you know,
Well,
and
there really isn't, and I actually
there isn't.
I'm gonna give Shauner a lot of the credit for that because the way he
Hmm.
put it made it really gel. You know that even science fiction is fantasy, and the more I've been studying physics and astrophysics and the complications between all even you know like I don't know if you noticed, but like over the years it was like the less we knew about outer space is like aliens are coming from other planets to come visit us, and then
Yeah.
when we got to this threshold where enough of civilization understood that they can't, the distance and the technology required would be, you know, literally you need enough energy. You need more energy than has ever been produced. You literally need infinite energy, and that can't, you know, blah blah blah. To then everybody's like, oh no, they're coming from other dimensions. They're interdimensional because we don't understand that shit either. But then, you know,
Well,
as we're learning about that, we're finding out the energy requirements would also be just as stunning.
maybe I'm not as smart as some people, but I can just never buy any of these explanations with total certainty. I'm like, they're all like possible. Some seem more likely than others. It's usually the mundane explanation where money is changing hands that is the explanation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's always the old adage: follow the money. You know, who's
Yeah.
benefiting from the narrative, and sure enough, if you look deep enough, you will find
I
the
mean, I
thread
think
that leads it to.
some of those people who do the kind of UFO whistle stop tour, you know, endlessly, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, disclosure is coming and all that stuff. I I think people just want to believe it because it's entertaining, not because it's credible. You know.
You know, that's literally exactly it as far as I'm concerned as well. You know, because I was one of those guys. I wanted to believe. I did. I still do, but I can't because I did a little freaking tiny little bit of research to find out that, you know,
Well, yeah, even with a layman's knowledge of astrophysics, you pretty much already know
it's
that more than about 90% of the population, and you realize, huh, that's a long way to travel. That's a
For
long
what?
way to travel.
For what? For literally what? Without knowing what they're, it would be like, uh, just
I'll
going
tell you.
blind. I
I'll
mean,
tell
you
you
have no
what.
idea what's there, and you're going to go there anyways. And it's
I'll
not
tell
like,
you what.
climbing a
It's like
mountain
thinking
because it's there.
the
It's
answer.
not
The
like that.
answer comes straight from the answer comes straight from Mars attacks. The reason they want to come here is that's just it. That's the reason. You know.
Yeah,
So
because before they even got to us, they would have bypassed all the things except us that they might need for free.
well, also like as if you're not stopping halfway to hang out with the lion men. The coolest dudes.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, always had a soft spot for lion men. I'm like,
I,
yeah.
I I love them in the Flash Gordon book. I'm about halfway through volume one, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty cheesy, but I could just picture, see that's one of the reasons I could
Well,
appreciate some of this stuff. I mean, it's damn near 100 years old, but reading 100-year-old sci-fi is like some of the best because, it's pure
well, if
fantasy
you go
for
much, if you
starters.
go back much further, like the science fiction is, we went to the moon in a hot air balloon. Like it starts to become a lot more abstract and rudimentary. Like the
Mhm.
technological kind of like framework isn't there.
No,
Like
not even close. It's
yeah,
it's it's
you need you
and
need the
like
right you need the right brothers. As soon as the right brothers come along, it's like okay, there's a little bit of a spark of you know
mhm, mhm.
something.
When you think, John Carter was written in 1912.
Yeah.
That's like 112 years ago. And it's some of the best of all time. You know, because he didn't
Well,
bother. It didn't
I've
waste
never
time
read.
with rocket ships and stupid shit like that. He just said, "Doorway, there you go."
Well, I've never read all of it. I've only read bits of it,
Mhm.
and like I've seen the film and read a lot about it, and seen a lot of pulp comic strip iterations of it. But I've never read the actual Barsoom by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I've looked around. Like the problem with some of these books is like the same with Robert E. Howard is like there are a lot of cheap reprints on Amazon, but like you want to get a good one, not one that's
Mhm.
been, you know, stitched together in someone's back shed.
Mhm. Well, you could probably pick up a good copy of the paperback Princess of Mars, the first one. Really, really, really cheap, and you'll enjoy it. It's got a little bit of everything in it, and uh, that was one of the things I really liked about Burroughs is that you know in all or a lot of the fantasy and fiction, they just completely either do one of two things when it comes to like romance and actual human interaction, male female. The thing that actually drives like all of the species. The most important thing we either uh, avoid it completely, like it doesn't exist, because you may upset some viewer who doesn't feel represented, or they wanted so and so and so and so to get together, not who you decided are going to get together,
Right.
or they'll do the exact opposite,
Well, I
and
mean,
everybody gets together with everybody eventually, so that everybody's
I think
happy for a little while. The total
I think because
communistic
because
approach.
you're 2 hours in, you can actually say it. You can just say that like human sexuality is like a gift from from the creator or whatever. Like I tend to agree, but um, I think that a lot of modern relations in just any kind of adventure story, they're a little bit, I don't know, kind of sanitized now.
Mhm. Yeah, they've got to do
They'll
one.
put
They've got to either please everybody or please nobody by not doing anything at
yeah
all.
yeah
Like
yeah yeah
what was it? The newer Battlestar Galactica. They couldn't just start off with the people who are going to get together already. They got to go through this weird,
Y- Yeah,
maze of
yeah.
relationships so they can bang everybody until
Well,
they
there's
finally
also a
get to
lot
their
of
true love. Um,
I mean that show had a lot of like you could tell that like they were doing fan service in the like subsequent seasons and stuff. I mean, it was very. I thought that was really fun series, but like totally ridiculous at the same time, right?
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, like really, actually, like if it can be credited with anything, it's like you don't get a lot of modern sci-fi that's so unself-conscious. It's camp. Like a lot of it is too like Star Trek could never be that camp anymore because it's too takes itself too seriously to be like that, you know?
Cal, Squirrel sent it to me in Discord. I'll send it to you in Discord when I'm out of the show because if I go over to Discord now, it screws up the show. OGG is an NPC hoarder. Yeah, no, he just wants to, play more and committee less. I get it, but that's the problem with older gamers. They're going to analyze and overanalyze and optimize as opposed to just rush in and do the thing, which they're meant to do. Overcautious, etc. I was in last night's perfect example of Bubba's game. 9 players, in a D&D game, 9 first level characters, I think it was. And at the first sign of real danger, we're like, we're out because we know we already lost an NPC, got killed, and we're like, yeah, if we just go home now, we won't die. That's what we're gonna do.
Well, I understand
Because
wanting to
we're
play
all 50 plus
aggressively.
years old and we know the
I
shit
want
too.
to. I understand wanting to play aggressively to like advance the story, but you would think that they'd want to go away, find some kind of advantage, and then come back and confront the monster. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's exactly what we decided to do was come back when we because just the little bit of gold that we were going to get paid for accomplishing what we had accomplished to that point would make a drastic tactical advantage. Instead of people running around in like leather and ring mail, they can go up to chainmail. Instead of
yeah.
going in with 9 guys, we could hire another 9 guys to come in with us. To
Although
double our chances
I
with
never
just that
really liked,
little bit.
I never really liked leather or ringmail as like they don't really have a lot of. I mean, as they're presented in the D&D context, they don't have a lot of real world analogs. Like it's more like composite light armor. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I think what on the opposite side of that is that if they work, if as designed and explained, if they work,
Yeah.
then they should absolutely be incorporated into a world that isn't Earth, because you
Well,
have the
I have two.
possibility of that technology being designed elsewhere. Just because Earth
Yeah,
didn't have it.
and differently, and having different kind of like physical effects in place. Like
Mhm.
even someone was talking about, oh, I don't think the Sisters of Sigmar should be so strong in Mordheim because women wielding giant hammers is not realistic. And the author was like, yeah, but this is a fantasy setting, and they come from a tribe of like really powerful, muscly people. So like that's what you're getting. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
right.
Um,
I mean, if you want to play a one-for-one Earth, game, that's cool. I mean, there's plenty of
yeah,
them,
yeah.
and they're all over the place and they're very popular. But if you're not, you throw all that shit, that the preconceived notions out the window and enjoy the ride.
I mean,
Yeah, those guys
I
over
have
there are
two,
wearing armor made out of freaking rose bushes. Fucking
yeah,
okay, that's crazy. Why not?
or like cork, or like just I mean, maybe the trees have really good bark. Um, like, um,
I have two really conflicting views in RPGs with respect to realism. One is that like I wish role players would read more military history, because a lot of things where they go, "Oh, that's crazy. That would never happen." I'm like, "Are you sure about that?" Like, because I'm like, there's a lot of, once you start digging into any period, you're like, holy heck, how did this even, like, this is some crazy stuff, right? This is like
Mhm.
wilder than any fiction. The other side of me is like, it's a game, Horace. You know what I mean? Like, it's a game. Like, just do whatever. It's a game. What's fun? You know, it's like you can actually just like hand out dopamine like candy if you want. It's really fun if you're DMing and like the players like you. It's a nice change.
Mhm.
So
And it opens up the possibility of players, creating something new, an idea that at least amongst those guys, those old gamer dudes, like Chris was talking about, they came up with this new idea, this new tactic, strategy, or whatever resource or whatever that it's now in their little neck of the woods, their little imaginary world. That's a big thing. That's a big innovation. That's a
yeah, yeah.
uh, it has some meaning. It's never gonna exist in the real world. We're not gonna go
Well,
back in time
also
and change the
things from
history, but
different things from different times can exist. I mean, the Chinese had gunpowder and
hmm
movable
and then
type.
they got rid of it, or was it the
Yeah,
Japanese?
yeah. Um, Apparently, peak samurai era Japan, they had more firearms in Japan than like half of Europe. At that
hmm
point, they just bought them all from the Portuguese. They were like, "These are great. Send more."
hmm hmm
you know. But yeah, like it's funny because everybody kind of thinks of samurai as kind of knights of the East or whatever. But my uncle, who is Japanese, he's like, it's more like hit and run skirmish warfare with a lot of bows and a lot of muskets.
Yeah, the
You know?
the samurai swords, which was Shogun. Prior to
Yeah,
that war game, feudal Japan, one of the units is riflemen.
yeah,
And for a good reason.
yeah,
And that's why I bum out when like people hold back that innovation in their fantasy games, like at all costs. Like, oh God, no, no, we'll never. I'm never going to let you have muskets and blunderbusses and
even
arquebuses and shit like that. And I'm like, you understand that uh, us modern folk, the actual gamers, we know about all kinds of other crazier shit that we could try to
yeah.
implement, like antibiotics, or who knows what other sciences and things that the
Or
kinetic
even just
engagement that we could just destroy your world if you
even
hold
just
us back too much.
even in the Napoleonic Wars, like the French surgeons had invented kind of early antiseptic by using a cold wine compress on gunshot wounds, like to clean it.
hmm
And, that saved lives basically. But, yeah, like things like that. I mean, I'm really getting a lot of rewarding learning from getting into this Dark Ages gaming, because I feel like I understand why scholars don't use the Dark Ages term anymore. They call it late antiquity or early medieval now, because like Dark Ages refers to the lack of writing from the time and the lack of surviving artifacts from the time. That's what makes it dark. So
hmm
everybody has this idea of the period as being very regressive and mudcore and totally lawless. And it's a little bit more complicated than that, and a little bit more like advanced than that, and certainly a lot more colorful than that. And there's a lot of trade. I mean, we're talking about like Saxons wearing glass jewelry with metal tinting in it from Afghanistan in like 700 AD. You know, like
Hmm.
they're trading over long, long routes. You know, I mean, they're not making the whole journey. It's kind of getting handed off, you know,
Right,
every,
traded to the next trader, to the next trader,
yeah, yeah.
along the route.
But
Yeah.
but I'm realizing that that period of history was so much more kind of colorful and vibrant. There's a lot more interaction between the tribes and a lot more peaceful cooperation between them as well as warfare. Um, Interesting thing is like the Saxons, when they arrived, there were all these Roman buildings that had been abandoned by the Romans who'd left to kind of attend the collapse of Rome, right? So when the Saxons arrived in England, there's all these Roman structures, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest they were kind of creeped out by them, that they saw them as kind of ghost towns to be avoided, and that they would just rather build their own settlements from scratch nearby. You know, they
Hmm.
had a kind of superstition about them.
Hmm.
But even the term Saxon, it comes from the knife they carried. Apparently, the sea
Right.
axe, which is like a little curved dagger.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, exactly, Chris.
Yeah. As a
You
matter of
know,
fact, in Bubba's game, that exact knife is all our characters are allowed to walk around with in the actual
right?
town, city, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Outside, you can wear your armor and blah blah blah, but inside
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't. Because of that, no one's willing to go inside the big freaking city. But then again, Bubba is like charging taxes and things to like stow our gear to keep it from getting stolen and shit like
right.
that. It's like you have to understand there's got to be a give and take between the DM and the players. The DM imposes all these penalties. The players are just going to go the other direction. They're just gonna, you know.
This is why I like something a bit simpler, like a dungeon crawler board game, because
Mhm.
basically,
Yeah,
if you're the DM,
there's no.
I just give you a few little plastic hats, and you give me a card that says magic sword that I can use once. Like, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah, there's no desires, subliminal or subconscious on either part when you can do games like that. But once you put
yeah,
some work into like creating a world or a setting or a situation, you can't help but have uh, you want to see certain things or you want certain things to be adhered to because you
well,
created the thing in the place.
it's
So
much
you
more of
want
an open, it's much more of an open world. You really can kind of explore it a bit more, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whereas on a board game, a board game is always going to railroad you a little bit, at least, you know, a little bit.
If not entirely, but
Yeah,
you bought into it. You've all
yeah,
agreed to the social contract that we're going to play this game, and these are the rules. And
yeah,
it's not like they're not my rules. They're just the game's rules. We want to play it. Yes. No.
yeah,
Okay. When you come to a role playing game, it's that guy's rules.
yeah,
And that
yeah.
guy's got desires and wants and needs and hopes and expectations, or at least oftentimes they do. If you want to run a game where the GM just completely rolls every little thing up randomly, it's going to be slow going, and it's not always going to have the continuity that some people want. But at least you can be safe in going. Well, it's not my fault. It's the way the game was written. As
Well, that's
opposed to
one thing.
okay, I
That's
screwed
one
up,
thing I
or
like
I
about
should
it.
have done it differently, or that's just the way it is. Suck it up, Buttercup.
One thing I like about a lot of the Osprey games is they have that kind of Necromunda or kind of Mordheim style progression for your main guys
Hmm.
between games. You know what I mean? A lot of them will have traits
Hmm.
or some kind of personality, like negative or positive, for like your different characters.
Or a material gain for victory. Well, you
Yeah,
won
yeah,
this war, so now you get 25 extra points in troops or equipment or an upgrade to your unit that could be viewed as like a physical gain, not a skill gain. You know, a lot of like in Necromunda, you might literally gain new pieces of equipment that would make this ganger or the other ganger better because now he's got a better gun and he can give the lesser gun to someone who was just running around with a club, but now that club guy's got a gun too. So it like trickles down
I was
from the top.
I was watching the a Necromunda battle report earlier tonight, and it's just blown away. Like it's like an incredibly silly game, but it's like it's so far in the future. Like it's such a strange kind of wild kind of place that it doesn't matter that your average gang has military grade weapons. They're making them
Mhm.
or
Well,
mining them.
it's
You
it's really, I mean, if you think about it, you're literally fighting over the scraps of a garbage dump. It would be like go to your basic city dump wherever you are, and now imagine it like a million times more garbage, and there's a roof keeping you from seeing the sky, and to get out or to make any progress out of the garbage dump, you got to kill those guys over there and take their stuff so you can go to the next place. It's
yeah,
freaking
yeah. Well,
it's like a whole new brand. It's like a whole new level idea of hell. Someone came up with like, okay, we've got all the previous concepts of the different levels of hell, but let's make one that's more in tune with the 20th or the 21st century, where it's all mankind's shit and stuff. Just break all of it, throw it in a pile, and now you got to live in
yeah, yeah, and there's
it.
a really funny thing of like anything good that happens is also bad. So if you win the
Right.
contract, if you win the contract for like running security on your level of the hive or like garbage disposal or something, that's really going to cause you more problems than it is going to make you money. Like
Mhm.
it's like great, thanks for the contract. We're going to have to double our security now. At
Mhm.
least.
I enjoyed the hell out of that game. Unfortunately, you know, the,
Well,
the
I
the
love
guys that
that.
I was playing with, you know,
Yeah, my brother is less into it because he's like the gang warfare side of it isn't interesting to him. He would prefer something like Kill Team, where it's more like special operations kind of,
oh
you
sure,
know.
sure, anything has got to be brighter and cheerier. Even Kill Team, you know what I mean? In
Yeah,
that oppressive world where literally, you're harvesting things that are grown in human shit,
but he
or
definitely he
something.
loves those games. He loves those games where you paint a squad of like 10 to 15 guys and that's your army. Those are the ones that he likes. I think he would play every one if he had the shelf space, you know.
Mhm. I'm looking forward to the Vampire Wars. Same kind of thing. You've got
Hmm.
5 to 15 guys, and they're gonna fight the vampires, or be the vampires, or the mummy, or the werewolf and his minions, or the cult, or Sherlock Holmes and a couple other characters from fiction are gonna go and do the
Well,
thing. And
that side of things is great because Watson has got quite a bit of experience with the old revolver. Like that's not a
Mhm,
problem, and
mhm,
he's a field medic, so
mhm.
he's good for that.
and and
And
and no slouch in a fist fight. Although, you
that's
know,
right.
uh, sticking one on the chin of Dracula probably not going to have the effect he thought it was. But who doesn't want to
I
still
reckon
see
if
that?
I reckon if Sherlock just plays his violin, Dracula will be like, "I give up, stop."
And I was just talking about it earlier. Reaper makes a great Sherlock Holmes mini, and
Hmm.
because it's Sherlock Holmes and nobody cares anymore, I could probably pick up that metal mini for like $5. And if I get lucky and I find the Watson from the same store, I got Sherlock Holmes and Watson, the beginning of a great unit. I can get some bobbies, or some townsfolk, some villagers, and okay, there's an army, so to speak. Um,
Yeah, there's a pretty good Great Escape games, the guys who do the Western game Dead Man's Hand, they do a Peaky Blinders game,
Oh,
and it's got
really?
like
Okay, that would work.
British bobbies in it. They're they're definitely very 1920s. Like they're not, any like Victorian,
Uh-huh.
but they're just carrying billy clubs, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I gotta
Really.
say though, I did get creeped out from I forget the name of the company, West Wind or whatever. I saw a blister pack of children vampires, and I was looking at the minis, and I'm like, yeah, no, just no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, am I okay with having like a couple of like little kid NPC figures that like you rescue? Maybe,
Hmm.
you know,
But like half your army is child vampires,
undead children is a that's a little bit disturbing.
right? Right? Right?
I mean,
Hey,
who
what's
was
up,
that
Sean?
guy? He was really talented. He was doing scenery, like sci-fi scenery, but with like dolls' heads and stuff like that. He was kind of
Hmm.
blowing through these parts a while ago, but he did really good stuff. But it was so creepy, and I was just like, I'm glad this is your outlet for these thoughts and feelings. like,
Yeah,
you know,
Reaper is still. It's weird though because like I keep going back, and I don't see like them putting out a lot of new stuff. The Chronoscope line, I go back every like year or two. I'm like, I haven't seen a new mini. Maybe that line is done, which would be a shame
no,
because
Reaper do a lot of new stuff, but it's mostly Bones Black now that they do new. So if you search by plastic, you'll see a lot of new stuff. You
okay,
know,
well, because
yeah.
isn't the Bones Black just old stuff but now in plastic?
No, it's everything. I mean, they still do metal releases. You can search, like, go direct to their site and
Yeah, that's
search
what I
by like,
did, and I didn't
yeah.
see. I couldn't
You can do
remember a
newest to
single new.
oldest. You can do newest to oldest and stuff like that. But like,
After the show, I'll go check
yeah, they're still
what's
doing
new with
stuff.
Reaper.
I love them. I love them too because they don't do like they do things that are just kind of maybe it's I don't know if you'd call it an American or a D&D aesthetic, but it's just a
Yeah,
nice
you probably
break
can't see
from
these, but I just got these two. Let me do this real quick
yeah, I know
because I am going to have to say
the
goodnight. And then,
vampires, right? The Reaper vampires. Yeah,
yeah, I
they're
got this
awesome.
set of the male and female. I thought they were
Hmm.
metal, but I should have known better because it was a 2 pack for $5, and I could go
Yeah.
back and get them in metal. But I'm like, I'm going to have a half a dozen or more vampires, if not like a score of them. Uh,
Well, that's it. That's it. And the thing with undead is also if you have spare bodies from your bits box, I've realized this. Like, I'm like, I have all these spare zombie heads. I could just take spare bodies left over from every kit and make a zombie of every kind, like an
mhm,
astronaut
mhm,
zombie, a Dark Ages zombie, a
mhm.
Roman
Yeah,
zombie, that
I
kind of
have to
thing.
agree with you, Squirrel. Zombie children, maybe, but no vampire children because vampire children, they're like fully aware of just how awful their life has become or their existence has become. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna have just a freaking blast with doing the gothic stuff for the first for until Christmas, starting in September, late
Horror
August.
wargaming, horror wargaming, man. It's like I've kind of done that. I'm doing that with my Mordheim stuff. Like I got a little wood cardboard graveyard to put together and
What's up, Mobius?
some I'm doing an undead warband, which is mostly zombies, but there'll be some like werewolves and some human thralls in there. I
See,
quite like
I'd
the
be
idea
going
of
for like the ghouls and whites, like the fleshy but like
well
malicious, nasty, mean
the
undead
Mordheim
versus the.
the Mordheim undead list is very grounded. There's no skeletons. There's no whites, but you do get vampires, you get thralls, you get zombies, you get ghouls and ghasts, you get werewolves. But for some reason, he thought Skeletons was a bit too high fantasy, but I would just use skeletons anyway because it's WYSIWYG. That's the dude with the
Mhm.
sword. You know,
Mhm.
like I
That's
don't
that's
really.
so weird. It's okay for whites and ghouls, but skeletons is a bridge too far.
Yeah, he just decided. He just decided that was not in keeping. I mean, he had a very particular like vision for it, and it was very human and very empire centric, right? But there's been
Yeah.
so much written for it since then, even by him, that you can basically do anything in that game. And then if you get sick of that, you can go over to Frostgrave, which would be my personal preference. But everyone I know wants to play Mordheim, so that's what we'll start with.
Oblige them until
Quite happy to. Yeah, I get
until
why.
you burn
There's
it out.
more. There's more flavor. There's more flavor in Mordheim, but there's more flexibility in Frostgrave for sure.
Mhm. And eventually one will win the day.
Yeah.
And yes, Cal, there is nothing like a freaking charge of skeletal horses with skeleton horsemen, followed up by some chariots. Oh man, I freaking love
You know
that
what I
back in the
really
day.
You know what I really love is like the skeleton centaur, where it's like one piece. You know, like
Uh-huh.
it's like his lower half is the horse body and the upper half. Yeah, I've seen a few minis like that, like alternative
That
endings.
would be
With
sick. Oh
yeah,
man.
Skeletor, man. Yeah,
Well, buddy, I gotta let you go because I need to take care of something
yeah.
that only I can take care of.
I should get some
Get some
sleep.
sleep. Yeah. I will see you
All right,
later.
catch you later.
Everybody in the chat, thanks for hanging out. Fun morning. Um, I will see you guys
Take care,
tomorrow with
everybody.
some nonsense. Take care, James.
Happy,
Always a pleasure,
happy
brother.
gaming. All right,
I'll see you
see you
later.
later, guys.
Bye, guys.